Moving on to the cattle dock, we're going to apply the same method to the cattle dock. You can see I've picked out some individual stones now, so we're going to apply the same method to this, so a black wash on there. The beauty is we can put this on relatively thick like that, and if we're not happy with it, just a little bit of the enamel spirit and we can just thin it down as we want. So we can then get our cloth, wipe off the excess of our cloth, and then go back onto it and take it off again. So you can see we can build it up in layers. Obviously we don't want to go in too thick too early. Okay, so we'll go along there, just fill it in. So we just cover the side of it. It's always best to do a complete model at a time, otherwise sometimes what can happen is you can end up with different shading on one side or another, which sometimes looks a little bit odd. So we'll take some of the worst off of that, get some spirit on there, get some enamel thinners, and we just take that down a little bit. So just take it down just a little bit, so it doesn't look quite so black. Already that's starting to look a lot better. So we're going to go over it with a black wash, and then we're going to give it a brown wash as well, and then we might add some rusting to the wire as well. So we've got some nice rusting powders that we can use. So where the handles are going through there, we can tone them down a bit as well. Okay, so I'll carry on with the rest of this, and hopefully you'll see it at the end. Okay, so continuing with the cattle dock, you can see that we've done the black wash on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over that with some brown. So we're just going to go over it with some brown wash now. Okay, so you can see that's starting to work quite well on there. So just dabbing in some brown wash on there, just water that down a little bit, thin it down a little bit. Okay, so work that into there. We'll put it onto the paving on the top there. Sorry, we've gone out of shot a little bit there. Okay, so we just add it onto the top there. Starting to look good. I've also added, I'm not sure whether you can see it or not, I've put a little bit of rusting streaking into the guttering. I've painted these black, the downpipes on either end, and I've added a little bit of rust onto them as well. So we just brown that, get some brown in there. So again, thin it down a little bit just so it runs in all the little nooks and crevices on the paint, on the plastic. There we go. So while we're here, I've painted the inside of the cattle dog, so where the livestock will actually sit, and I painted it in a slate grey, and it looked rather garish, it looked quite bright. So I've toned that down with a light grey, just a very thin wash of light grey. Okay, I'm now going to go over that with the brown wash as well. So we go over that with a brown wash, just get some more brown on there. So this is a very, very thin brown wash. This is very, very thin indeed. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, it's literally just soaking into the surface. Get a bit more paint on there. So that's a really, really thin brown wash. Make sure we coat it all, make sure we get it all in there. Again down the front. So where that rust was on there, you can see it just takes a little bit of the paint off of it. So it just tones everything down, stops it giving it that brand new look. Good thing is, if we paint it on really thin, we can build it up in quite a few layers. So rather than sticking it all in one go, and build it up in layers. Good, that looks good. Okay, so we'll leave that to dry. I'm also giving the railings a coating as well. I've used some humble metal coat, okay, and it's not working all that well at the moment. I'm going to persevere with it. I think the tin just needs a good shaking, so I'm going to give it a good shake and try it again, see how it goes. However, we might just go over that with just a rusty colour in the end. So, starting to get there, starting to look quite effective. Okay, good. Hello again. So this is going to conclude part 1 of building the farm scene. I was going to try and do it all as one video, but because I've got so many different projects on the go, so many different parts of the farm on the go, it's difficult to tack them all together, make some sense of it, and also it'll just take me so long to get to where I need to be. So I thought what I'd do is I'll conclude it at this part, and then I'll redo some more and then make another video on that, so it'll go into parts. So this is the end of part 1. So what I've done is I've come back into the kitchen, only because the lighting is a lot better. It's pitch black outside, we're still in the middle of winter, so I brought it back in the kitchen because the lighting is far better in here. We've got some nice big spotlights in here, so you can see the weathering on the roof looks really good. It took some of the top coat off, so some of the grey is shining through, some of the Halford's primer underneath is shining through, and it's actually giving it quite a nice effect. It looks quite good. I've painted a little bit of limey green on there, so sort of a mossy green in section, so you can just about see it there, which gives it that nice little limey finish on there. I've also on here, so there we can see the wood effect, so it's got a nice weathered look on it. You can also see on the stone, before I painted the stone colour, I gave it an overall coating, an overall wash of a really light colour, almost like a pale cream colour. So you can see that, again it's not great to see, but you can actually see it in between the stonework. Okay, so it looks like the mortar on the stone, and then that's had a bit of a brush with some darker paint just to take the tone down. I've done the same on the door, so again that looks quite effective. Okay, so that is the shed. We also have the cattle dock, so grabs it out of scene. So unfortunately we've had a little bit of a problem with this. The paint has gone quite shiny for some strange reason. Now I think, and somebody may be able to point this out to me, I'm not totally sure myself, but I think it's because I mixed the wash with white spirit. I think that's the only thing I can think it can be. The other spirit I've mixed with enamel spirit, and that's been fine. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm guessing when I say that. It's not too much of an issue though, because hopefully what I'm going to do is I've got some really nice dark earthy powders. They're like a powdered weathering material, quite often used by military modelers. It's one of them things that I think that they've taken from military modelers because they use it quite a lot. So I'm going to coat it in that, and I'm hoping it's going to take the shininess off of it. You can see it in there, it looks quite shiny, doesn't it? And on the side here, you can see on the side here it looks quite shiny. However, the actual overall effect is quite nice. Again, I've painted some green in there to give it like that lime green wash. Also, if you look on the edge here, you can see, if I get my thumb out of the way, I don't know if you can hear the cat squatting in the background as well. So we've got the gutter in there. There's also some little bits of rust coming off the downpipes for them, so that looks quite effective. The railings again come out quite well, so I've got to put a bit more rust on there, but you can see the stanchions, the posts are nice and woody, but you've got some nice bits of rust in there hanging around on the actual posts, on the railings themselves. So that's the end view. Again, that looks quite good, I think. And along there again, that looks quite good. So what we're going to do is that I think we may leave in there to weather. Oh, hang on, we're being attacked by the cat. We've got an oversized cat on the railway, so that is probably going to go on the railway like that. I'll find a home for it, and we'll weather it as we go. Okay, so the last thing we'll look at in this section is the actual cottage itself. So there's the cottage. So we fixed some guttering around the top, and we've also put some downpipes in. I figured I'm going to put them on first before I paint it. It's going to look a lot better, rather than paint it and then try and glue them afterwards, because I think the glue will probably ruin the paint. So they came with the kit. You've got a sort of a collector there with a downpipe, and the downpipe's got some fixings on it as well. So chimney's on. I've put some filler in down here, and also on the back to hide the joint between the chimney and the bottom of the cottage. Okay, so that is where that is at the moment. I'm double checking as I go. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to add at the moment. Yes, there is. I tell a lie. I am sorry. I'm lying. So that's the front of the cottage. Before I do any paint, there is going to be a canopy going over there, like a little porch going over the front door. So I'm going to add that before I paint it as well. Other than that, that's almost ready for painting. So I shall carry on a little bit more, and I'll relabel it part 2. So this is part 1, so the next bit will be part 2, which is going to show you more painting on here and a little bit more weathering on the other bits and pieces as well. And then hopefully after that we'll show where we're going to put them on the layout and how we're going to lay them. Again, in my own head, I haven't come to a complete conclusion on that myself, so we'll see how we go. Thank you very much.